Hello, I'm Bob423. Today we're going to cover how to do a route in Aqua Map. Before we get started doing that, let's cover a few basics of how to touch the screen and move it about. So start by looking at the one area there with the bright yellow buoy. Let's put a finger there, and you see you can move it around just by moving your finger. If you take two fingers, you can expand and contract, and that's your basic motions and getting around on the chart. So let's start by trying to do a route. First, there's different types of taps. The first one you saw, just placing your finger down and moving it. Number two, do a tap, and up pops some information about that particular location. Touch the white area, you get a whole list of stuff of what's nearby. The depth, the caution area, you get a L&M, and you get a lot of information about what's in the local notice to marinas on nearby areas. Let's back out of that, and we do that tap again, and this time we're going to hit the pink area on the left, and that's our first waypoint in the route. Let's tap the again. We'll go over by 1R here. Another tap. You notice the screen recenters on the middle of where you just tapped. There's another tap. Now let's take a two finger, make it smaller so you can see what we're doing. And another tap over here. And you've just formed a route. Now let's suppose you don't like what you did here. Let's move up one that says 44 Elm. Tap it. It changes into something you can move around with your finger. Touch it and move it around. Put it anywhere you want. If you don't like it being there at all, tap it again and then hit the garbage. And in the middle, 101, tap it, hit the garbage. But suppose you want to add a waypoint in the middle. Tap anywhere in the line. Now you have a waypoint. Tap it once. It changes into something you can move with your finger, and you can move it around and put it anywhere you desire. When you're all done with that, hit stop editing at the top, save the changes, and there's your route. Tap any one of the waypoints. I'll tap number 3. Now tap the I sign at the right, and there is a details on the track. It shows you your name at the top, how far the track is, 9.1 nautical miles, the total time it would take if you were to proceed at the speed that's recorded in your My Boat section of Aqua Map. In my case, 7.3 knots, and how much fuel you would burn. In my case, 1.6 gallons, because I burn 1.3 gallons an hour. And a list of the individual waypoints. But we're not going to record that. Let's hit the trash button at the bottom right. Delete the route. No problem. Now let's do a real route that goes from Dozier's Marine, right here. Dozier's Marine is going to go around the corner and down to this anchorage area at Fishing Bay. So let's start here. We'll hit Dozier's Regatta, a tap, and hit the little pink sign by the 1 on the left, and we'll hit the middle here. There you go. Now let's move it up to the top. We'll hit 1 here. Not too concerned yet. We can always do editing. Another one. Now let's go back and see how we did. Okay, this one's a little bit too close to that number 8. I'm going to tap the 288. Changes into something to move. And we'll move it a little bit over. Like that. Now we'll go along. That looks okay at that place. And we're missing that little area that's shallow there. We'll tap it and then move it around so it's right on top. Now you notice something about Aqua Map is the finger does not obscure where you want to put the crosshair. The crosshair is offset so you can see what you're doing. Some apps, your finger is where the route or the waypoint goes. You can't see what you're doing. That's not the case with Aqua Map. So I like that. Let's go. It's getting a little close to the red on this side. We'll tap that and move it out. And that's fine. Now we'll shrink it so we see what we're doing. Let's bring it out a ways. A tap here. And shrink it so we can see what we're doing. A tap here. And a tap. And a tap. And we're going to come around the corner. Not really too particular about exactly where to put it yet. And we're going to hit the that and hit Fishing Bay. And there we are. Now let's see if we're happy with everything we did. Let's look at this portion right here in the middle. Let's move that out a little bit. Maybe tap it. Move it out like this. That avoids the shallow area. And we're coming around the corner, and that's fine. And looks like we're a little close here. Let's look at this area. We're going too far away from 9. So let's move it a little closer. And likewise on the next waypoint, a little too far away. Let's move it a little closer that way. And that rounds the corner pretty well. And heads up to where we want to anchor. And let's look at how all this looks. Okay. Now if we wanted to move things, we could move this, for example, and move it down a little bit if we wanted to, or not. It's all on how we want to fine-tune it. Okay. Now let's go to the stop editing portion here. Tap it. Save the route. And hit any one of the waypoints. And hit the blue dot, blue I sign. That's a default name of the route. It went 10.1 miles, 1 hour and 22 minutes, and consumed 1.8 gallons of fuel. Let's look at that route. We'll tap the I sign next to the route name. Out comes the route. Let's tap that, and we're going to hit delete to get rid of that name. And we're going to call it, we'll say OZI Dozers to Fishing Bay. SHINGBAY. That's our route, and the name already exists. That's because I did it before. Okay, and there's your name. You can make it red, yellow, green, any color you want. We can make it black, for example. Do the route, and you'll see that the route is changed to black. I'm going to hit number 8 again and go to the I sign because I kind of like red. Let's make it red. By the way, you see boat speed and fuel consumption displayed. Those are filled in by the defaults in your My Boat. If you want to make it something other than that, just for this route, for whatever reason, you just put in a different number there. Let's back up. And now let's look at something called Route Explorer. Hit the I. And here you see a whole list of things along your route you might be interested in. One in particular is Walden's Marina. Shows a diesel price of $2.126 per gallon. That's a better price than you see at any of the other marinas. So if you were going to make this trip and needed some gas or fuel, you might be wise to fuel up at Walden's Marina before you left. Because by the time you get down near another one, for example, Fishing Bay Yacht Club, not Fishing Bay Yacht Club, but Fishing Bay Marina, you would pay $2.599 dollars per gallon. So if you want to save money, you might look at the list and choose your place to fuel up before you started the trip. And it shows the other things that are nearby. So let's back up out of that. And you see on that Route Explorer summary that there's 6 places to buy fuel, and it shows you the price that's the least expensive already. So backing out of that, you have your route. Now suppose you wanted to change it after the fact. Let's say you wanted to go further out on number 10. Hit number 10. See the pink on the left, hit the pink, and now you're back in edit mode. Tap it, move it around, maybe down to here if you wanted to. Stop editing, save the changes, and now you have a new route. Simple, simple. So that's how you do a route in Aqua Map. And let me show you one other thing. Let's tap this again. I'll tap number 10. Then I'll hit the I symbol. At the bottom left, you see a square with an upturned arrow. Hit that. We're going to export it. GPX format. It's fun. Let's export it to boating. And it thinks about it a little bit. You're importing one route. Import. Yes. Now, where did it go? Hit menu. Hit routes. And there it is. Touch it. And there's a route you just did in Aqua Map that's now in boating and avionics. And you go back the other direction too. No problem. So, in summary, that's what you do. Let me show you one other thing before we leave. I said there were 3 touches. One touch being to move the map. A tap to bring down something you can form a route with. And if you keep your finger down for an extended period of time, what you get is a marker. And you can give it a name. My marker. And give it a symbol of any symbol you want. Go back and you're done with it. There you go. Now you have a marker. And that marker can also be transferred back and forth between Aqua Map and avionics. So in simplified format, that's how you do it. This is the end. I'll see you next time, and we'll cover other aspects of Aqua Map.